here in New Orleans, we're not operating under normal conditions. Getting better, but it's been a tough road since Katrina. And most fascinating and really bizarre is the fact that services for people suffering from mental illness were the last to come on board. And you would think after the catastrophe that we experienced that services for people having mental illness would be the first. I would say within the first 2 years after Katrina, the top 5 medical concerns we were facing involved a person having mental illness issues. And that really covers a broad spectrum. You have sort of your depression, anxiety, all the way to the other end of the spectrum, which is chronic mental illness involving people with schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and those are the ones that often pose a public safety concern if left untreated. So within that broad spectrum, there were no services. I mean, we were really scrambling to get help in that was so sorely needed. In particular, mental health inpatient beds. We didn't have any in the city for over 2 years. The first 2 years after Katrina, we were going into the emergency rooms with our people and being told, get them out, get them out. We don't have any beds for people with mental illness. They're taking up the sick beds. I remember walking into one hospital and I had a chronically mentally ill man who suffered from schizophrenia. And his complaint that he was 120 megahertz astronauts and his insides were boiling over. And if he didn't get help right then and there, he was going to die. And I walked him into the emergency room and I was told, get him out. Get him out. He's going to take up a sick bed. And my response was, when you tell me this isn't sick, you know, I won't come back. But the way I see it right now, he is just as sick as the person having the asthma attack in the next bed. So treat him. It's your job. But it was a fight. It was a fight for every single person that we brought into the emergency room. We responded to a call last week on this beautiful, beautiful young man, 23 years old. He was an honor student, never caused his family any problems at all, delightful child. And at age 19, 20, they started seeing that he was just acting a little bit more bizarre. And the symptoms got worse, and he became increasingly more paranoid. He couldn't hold a job. In fact, his mom said in 4 months he had 6 jobs. And they had gone to the mental health clinic and he was given the diagnosis of schizophrenia. And the doctor had done a PEC, a physician emergency certificate, and asked us to bring him to the emergency room. And his mom got in the front of the crisis unit with me and she looked at me and she said, I think I've just been given a death sentence. And she said, can you tell me, where do we go? Couldn't really answer her. I watched her son all the way in the back. He was so afraid. And this is no fault of his own. And we see hundreds and hundreds of cases like this. And for someone like me to get emotional about it, it's because it just gets overwhelming. Our job is to give hope, to take the hand of the bridge jumper and say, you know what, baby? We're going to make this day better and brighter. Take my hand. But when you live in a system where the services are not going to be there, it sure does make it hard to do the job.
I'll take a minute. I have to too.
I mean, it just does. And I think that's why I wish so much that I could just put everybody in my unit and drive them around with me. because it's a world that blows your socks off when you see it on that level. And that's a hard thing to do because it's hard to go in when somebody's having the worst day of their life with a camera. But I want so hard to show it. So if my voice can do it, you know, I hope that it can, but it sure would be better if we could just get more people out there on the streets, getting the stories and getting help to these people. They deserve it. They shouldn't be denied. They're sick.